The future is approaching fast. Don't blink. Welcome to the Auto Brief News, broadcasting live from our studio in Switzerland. I'm Amber Light, your resident telemetry architect, digital strategist, and today, a begrudging admirer of the internal combustion engine's ultimate swan song.
And I'm Jim Khana. Keep the shiny side up, mate. I'm the resident analog purist, and I'm currently sitting here with a profound sense of melancholy mixed with absolute, unadulterated automotive euphoria.
It is Friday, July 17th, 2026. Welcome to the studio, our end-of-the-week deep dive into the industry's most emotive, passion-driven press releases. Today, we are looking at a vehicle from Woking, England, a car that closes the book on an era-defining lineage of supercars. We are unpacking the definitive, final evolution of the 720S platform, the newly announced McLaren 788HS.
I wrote my garage blog piece on this yesterday, Amber. I called it a final bow to the V8, because that is exactly what this is. We've watched McLaren iterate on this platform for almost a decade. The 720S changed the game for everyday supercars. The 765LT terrified us in the best way possible. The 750S refined the edges, and now they've pulled out the high sport badge for the 788HS.
For our listeners who aren't deeply entrenched in McLaren nomenclature, the HS designation stands for high sport and is incredibly rare. Historically, it has only ever appeared on two previous series production cars, the MP412CHS and the MSOHS. It is a label reserved exclusively for a peak state, uncompromised engineering exercise.
It's a badge that carries massive weight, and yet, ironically, the car itself carries almost no weight at all. But before I start crying tears of joy over the dry weight figure, let's pause the telemetry feed for a quick analog broadcast from the technical partners who keep the lights on in this studio. This segment is fueled by echoesoftheroad.com, vintage gear design for car enthusiasts and anyone who believes true beauty has mileage. Echoesoftheroad.com is your definitive apparel store of vintage car culture.
All right, let's put this carbon fiber tub under the microscope. Let's start with the powertrain, Jim, because I know this is the beating heart of your analog philosophy. We are looking at McLaren's M840 T4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine.
It is a masterpiece of internal combustion. It features lightweight forged pistons, ultra-low inertia twin-scroll turbochargers, and twin fuel pumps. It revs all the way out to a screaming 8,500 revolutions per minute. Peak power is 788 PS, or 777 brake horsepower, delivered at 7,500 revolutions per minute, with 800 Newton-meters of torque.
The acceleration telemetry is brutal. It dispatches 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds. But the true indicator of its aerodynamic and mechanical efficiency is the 0 to 200 kilometers per hour sprint, which it achieves in exactly 7.0 seconds. The top speed is 330 kilometers per hour, or 205 miles per hour. But Jim, as you noted in your blog, it is not just the power output that defines this car. It is the denominator in the power-to-weight equation.
Yes, the weight. Amber, over the last few weeks, we have reviewed electric SUVs that weigh 2,900 kilograms. We've looked at battery-laden supercars that weigh over 2 tons. The McLaren 788HS has a dry weight of 1,265 kilograms.
Which is astonishing. It equates to a power-to-weight ratio of 623 PS per ton. That is the highest ever achieved by any model in this entire supercar series.
It's visceral. Stripping a car down to 1,265 kilos in 2026 is an absolute triumph. They achieved it with a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, lightweight interior components, and a total rejection of heavy hybrid batteries. When a car is this light, it doesn't just accelerate faster, it brakes later, it turns sharper, and it communicates through the chassis with a level of fidelity that a 2.5-ton EV simply cannot replicate, no matter how many algorithms you program into the suspension.
I will concede that the mechanical optimization here is exquisite. The aerodynamic package alone is a masterclass in fluid dynamics. It is completely rendered in carbon fiber. You have a multi-zone front splitter, and they've integrated a new S-Duct bonnet,
which looks like it was ripped straight off a Formula One grid.
It serves a distinct thermodynamic and aerodynamic purpose. The S-Duct channels air through the nose and over the top of the cabin to reduce lift. They've paired that with a raised active rear spoiler, a louvered underwing panel, and a Formula One-inspired rear diffuser. The sum total of these sculpted bodywork elements is a 10% increase in downforce compared to the already extreme McLaren 765LT.
And what I love is that the visual design matches the aggression of the wind tunnel data. Clients can opt for full visual carbon fiber bodywork. Imagine that. Every single exterior panel left exposed, either in a gloss or satin finish, so you can see the actual weave of the material that makes the car so light.
Moving to the mechanical grip, the chassis and suspension architecture is highly refined. They lowered the front ride height by 5 millimeters compared to the 750S. But the real focal point is the Proactive Chassis Control 3.
Linked hydraulic suspension. No 48-volt electric anti-roll bars. No digital nannies trying to artificially keep the car level. It uses high-pressure hydraulic fluid cross-linked between the dampers to manage roll stiffness and heave. It's an organic, analog system. And the steering? Electro-hydraulic. You actually feel the physical resistance of the front tires loading up in a corner.
It is certainly a tactile connection. They've also upgraded the braking system, deriving the carbon ceramic brake discs directly from the McLaren Senna. They are gripped by black 6-piston forged aluminum monoblock front calipers. They even integrated racing-inspired brake caliper cooling ducts to improve consistency during sustained, high-performance track driving.
And for the very first time on this series of supercars, they have fitted a center-lock wheel fixing system, paired with a new super lightweight forged alloy wheel design. Center locks just scream motorsport. You don't put 5 lug nuts on a race car, and you shouldn't put them on an HS.
Let's step into the driver-centric cabin. It is a strictly form-follows-function environment. There is a lightweight carbon fiber center console, a steering column-mounted instrument binnacle, and bespoke HS branding with a unique perforation pattern on the upholstery.
And importantly, the powertrain and handling mode controls are mounted right on the steering wheel binnacle, exactly where you can reach them without taking your eyes off the apex. But the most emotional element inside the cabin is the auditory experience. They revised the quad-exit titanium exhaust system.
The press release notes that they have carefully engineered induction and exhaust sound symposer technologies to amplify the twin-turbocharged V8's distinctive soundtrack.
It is an orchestra of controlled explosions, Amber. You get the rich, intense howl at 8,500 revolutions per minute, the mechanical chatter of the wastegates, and the deep resonance of the titanium pipes. It's the kind of sound that rattles your ribcage.
As an objective data point, the production volume is incredibly restricted. McLaren is limiting the 788HS to just 200 vehicles globally. That production run will be split equally across coupe and Spider variants.
Which brings me to the tragedy of this entire press release. 200 cars. Every single one of them will be handled by McLaren Special Operations, MSO, making each one completely unique. But because they are so rare, and because this is the final bow for the V8 lineage, these cars are going to be bought by collectors. They're going to be parked in climate-controlled garages, hooked up to battery tenders, and treated like investment portfolios. A car with a power-to-weight ratio of 623 PS per ton deserves to be driven until the carbon ceramic brakes are glowing orange, not locked away as a static museum piece.
I think it's time we consult the broader automotive hive mind before Jim starts a petition to mandate track days for supercar owners. It's time for the community poll.
Let's see where we are sending the helmet mascot today.
Every week on our Instagram feeds, represented by our helmet mascot, we pose a highly specific scenario. This week, you are one of the 200 lucky owners of the McLaren 788HS. You have opted for the full visual carbon fiber bodywork in a satin finish. You are blasting down the Kemmel Straight at Spa-Francorchamps. The 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 is screaming at 8,000 revolutions per minute, and you are approaching 330 kilometers per hour. What 1970s cassette tape is playing in the cabin?
If you are hurtling through the Ardennes forest in a British-built carbon fiber missile that represents the absolute violent pinnacle of internal combustion, you cannot play anything polite. You need something fast, heavy, and relentlessly driving. I am choosing Black Sabbath, Paranoid, the title track. The frantic driving guitar riff perfectly matches the sheer, unadulterated pace of a sub-3-second 0 to 100 sprint. It is raw, mechanical thunder.
A very chaotic, high-adrenaline choice, Jim. I, however, am looking at the sheer motorsport pedigree and the precision engineering of the vehicle. The aerodynamic yield, the MSO customization, the legacy of McLaren racing. Therefore, I am selecting Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, specifically the track, The Chain.
The chain?
Yes, the iconic, pulsing bass line at the end of the track has been synonymous with Formula One broadcasting for decades. It represents the building tension, the aerodynamic grip, and the precise execution of a high-speed motorsport maneuver. It is the perfect sonic equivalent to a car that utilizes an F1-inspired rear diffuser and an S-Duct bonnet. Let us know what you are listening to in the comment of our Instagram post.
I will give you credit for the Formula One connection, Amber. That is a deeply respectful nod to Woking's racing heritage.
I appreciate that. All right, let's bring this machine to the final weigh-in. It's time for the garage rating. Green light, amber light, or red light? Jim, you wrote the blog post. Let's have your verdict on the McLaren 788HS.
I am a man who has been mourning the slow, agonizing death of the internal combustion engine. The industry is pivoting to heavy batteries and sterile software. But McLaren refused to go quietly into the night. They gave us hydraulic steering. They gave us linked hydraulic suspension. They gave us a dry weight of 1,265 kilos and a V8 that revs to 8,500 revolutions per minute. This isn't just a supercar. It is a love letter to the analog driving experience. It is a masterpiece. I give it the brightest, loudest green light I can possibly muster.
A fully expected, yet entirely justified verdict from the analog soul. Now, for my rating. Our listeners know that I firmly believe the future is an 800-volt, software-defined electric ecosystem. Burning fossil fuels is, logically, a technology of the past. However, as an engineer and a digital strategist, I possess a deep reverence for systemic optimization. Achieving 623 PS per ton through advanced carbon fiber material science, managing thermal efficiency with twin-scroll turbochargers, and generating a 10% increase in downforce through pure fluid dynamics, it is an elegant solution to a mechanical problem. Even if it is the end of an era, it is a flawless execution of that era's peak technology. Out of sheer respect for the engineering, I am also giving the McLaren 788HS a green light.
You gave a green light to a twin-turbo V8. The world is officially upside down.
I appreciate perfection, Jim, regardless of the power source. That wraps up this episode of The Studio. You can read Jim's full blog post, A Final Bow to the V8, and explore the full high-resolution gallery of the McLaren 788HS in our garage archive at theautobrief.news.
And be sure to sign up for our Friday newsletter, The Telegram. I'll be writing a 2,000-word essay on why hydraulic steering fluid is more important than Wi-Fi connectivity, typed exclusively on my trusty analog ribbon typewriter.
I look forward to editing out the oil smudges. I'm Amber Light. The future is approaching fast. Don't blink.
And I'm Jim Khana. Keep the shiny side up.